Hello, soccer football fans. The Big D is back as we preview football's last European tilt of the 2024-25 season as Inter Milan and Paris Saint-Germain take on each other for the UEFA Champions League in Munich, Germany. Joining me as he does for all big Champions League or World Cup games, Charlie Mullan. So, Charlie, last one in the year, mate. Inter Milan and PSG. Just the final everybody thought we'd see, right?
Firstly, good evening. Hello, Dylan. Thanks for having me on as always, and hello to your viewers. Yeah, I remember somebody sending me a message around the round of 16 saying they predicted the final to be Bayer Leverkusen against Liverpool, and then the very next night, I think both of them got eliminated. So, yeah. Listen, it's the final. It's the final that we've got, whether we liked it or not. If the semi-finals are anything to go by, it should be a fantastic final. However, we've seen before, haven't we, that games do not live up to the hype, especially when they've got this much importance attached to the game. So we shall wait and see. But if it's anyway as good as Inter Milan's two legs over Barcelona in the semi-finals, then we are in for a treat. I'll take one of those games, let alone both of them combined. 7-6 on aggregate. Fantastic semi-final. I think it's the joint most goals scored in a semi-final over two legs in the competition's history. So, yeah, fantastic night. Barcelona thought they had won it. Lamine Yamal hits the post when he should really have gone to the corner flag and, ran out time. And then Inter go down the other end and score. Yeah, fantastic games. And it's good to see. I personally, I've loved this new format of the Champions League. There's so much jeopardy for all these teams, and we only have to look at Paris Saint-Germain. After 3, 4, 5 games of the group stage, they looked dead and buried. But they survived. They got through to the playoff round, got through that. I think maybe they didn't need the qualifying round. I can't remember off the top of my head. But here we are. They are the informed team, shall we say. They've knocked out all the English clubs in the knockout stages, Liverpool, Arsenal, Aston Villa. So
won the English Premier League in the knockout round by beating Liverpool, Villa, and Arsenal.
Yes, I think there was a stat just after that last game where they had more wins against Premier League teams this year than Man United did. That's not funny. That's not funny.
That includes the Europa League final, which we won't discuss. But PSG needed to win against Man City, otherwise the Parisians might have been out of the competition.
Mm-hmm. Yes, correct. But we've spoken in the last few years about PSG and do they deserve to win the Champions League and would we like them to win the Champions League? And my answer was no, because they were going about it the wrong way. They had Neymar, who I don't rate. They had Mbappe and they had Messi. And with those three players, they still could not find a way to win the Champions League, which is an absolute disgrace. So they got rid of all three of them.
But actually, perfect segue into my first question.
Oh, right. Oh, right. Okay.
How's Paris Saint-Germain changed without Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar?
Well, I think the team works as a unit. I think when you've got those three stars playing up front, all they think they have to do is stay up front and take chances. But we have already seen in this year's tournament, in the last 3 or 4 months, the work rate of PSG's front three. They will go back and defend, help out defensively, go back into midfield, help out there. That was never a consideration for either Neymar or Mbappe or Messi. They just basically took it amongst themselves to change from left-hand side to the centre to the right-hand side, not even cross the halfway line to help out the rest of their team. The work ethic that Luis Enrique has installed deserves to be rewarded with a Champions League trophy. And that's going back to my point. Now that they've got rid of those three superstars, in inverted commas, the work ethos that is in that team, built by Luis Enrique, who I greatly admired as a player, Barcelona and Real Madrid. I just think that he's got them working as a team. The forwards defend, and the defenders are comfortable going forward and scoring goals. We've seen it in the knockout stages. How many goals have the fullbacks and defenders scored for PSG? It's incredible. And Inter Milan have a very prolific defense as well in terms of taking goal scoring opportunities. Dumfries, Denzel Dumfries. Wow, what a player! He's done very well in this competition, and I would like for him to win the Champions League, but only one team will. And I would like to see PSG win because, like I said, I respect Luis Enrique as a player and now as a manager, and it would be a fantastic story that after getting rid of Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe, that they actually do fulfill their dream and win the Champions League for the first time.
Yeah, and also I think this PSG team became faster. I mean, Dembele playing for Dembele becoming a key. I mean, PSG's midfield, and then whether it be having Hakimi down at right back or Mendes down the left back. Of course, the big fella. Of course, Donnarumma, who does not allow goals in England. If you get a goal against him in England, you should kick the ball into the channel. And then maybe the most unappreciative January move was the PSG guy. I'm probably going to mispronounce his name.
Kvaratskhelia. Yeah.
That guy has made a huge difference for PSG.
Yeah.
And I knew he was good with Napoli, but wow, has he been good? Of course, Napoli is Serie A, so.
This is the thing, right? Kvaratskhelia can finish with Champions League medal, Ligue 1 medal, the Copa de France medal, and also a Serie A medal as well. So he could do a quadruple. He's played enough games for Napoli to qualify for a Scudetto title winner's medal, and now he's on for a treble with PSG. So four major trophies in one season. That'll take some beating. That's a good quiz question later, many years down the line. When we're doing these podcasts in 2050, I'll be throwing that question in your face. See how you remember it.
Yeah, and also the midfield of Vitinha, we know what he's capable of doing. Marquinhos, a rare PSG player with Champions League final experience from 2020. I'm not even going to count 2020 because that final was in an empty Lisbon stadium. Didn't even feel like a final.
No, it didn't. But the record book said that Bayern Munich won it that year, and we have to respect that. I know there was no spectators in the stadium that night, but there's a lot of similarities between that COVID year and this year because Liverpool won the Premier League COVID year and this year. Leeds United won promotion to the Premier League in the COVID year, and they also won promotion to the Premier League this year. And PSG were in the Champions League final COVID year and now this year. So there you go. I'm sure they'll be looking for a different outcome this time, but it won't be easy. But it should be a good game.
It's interesting. When we talk world football, when we talk big teams in world football, we talk Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Man United.
No, whoa. Delete that last one. They're not a big team anymore. Man United are not a big team anymore. They're not.
In terms of history, maybe not recent history.
No. Okay. Yeah.
Why is Inter Milan always underrated?
I think it's the Italian stigma of just being so defensively minded and boring. Inter Milan are your typical Italian team. They go 1-0 up and they park the bus, as Jose would say. Well, he was manager when he did park the bus. To great success. It was funny, actually, when he came out this week and said that he didn't, a few weeks ago, he didn't want Inter Milan to win the treble because he's the only manager for Inter to have won the treble. So he didn't want that. But he does want them to win the Champions League. They're not like Juventus, who had Del Piero and all the stars, etc., Ronaldo in recent years. They weren't like AC Milan. Zlatan was in their team. They were always seen as like a boring team. But this year they've showed that they can be exciting. They've scored 2 goals in their last 2 goals in each of their last 7 Champions League games. So, that defensive mindset has been thrown to one side. However, when they get to finals, the mentality changes. The mindset becomes, okay, it's a final. Let's go back to typical Inter. Hold on for as long as we can. If we get a goal from a set piece or whatever, if we go 1-0 up, then we defend for our lives. And I hope that's not the case on Saturday night. I hope PSG take the lead. So therefore, we have to see Inter Milan go on the attack, which makes the game much more open. And hopefully we'll see more chances at both ends. My biggest fear is that Inter go 1-0 up and they shut up shop and defend for their lives.
Yeah, usually I would think in the qualifying round, Inter Milan didn't give up goals. And now Inter Milan will give up a few, but they're scoring goals. Scored loads of goals against Bayern Munich and Barcelona. Not bad opposition. And, unlike a lot of teams in world football and today, Inter will play that 3-5-2 with 2 strikers, being Lautaro Martinez and Thuram. So play with 2 strikers, and then midfield. Is Henry Mkhitaryan still playing for Inter Milan? Isn't he like 5 years old?
Yeah, he is. Another player who has thrived after leaving Manchester United, but let's not talk about Scott McTominay and Jadon Sancho winning major trophies after leaving Manchester United. It just shows you how much work there is to be done to solve the toxic nature at Old Trafford. But that's for another day. This is about the European Cup final, the Champions League final. So, Mkhitaryan is there. You mentioned Lautaro Martinez. What a story it would be for him. He almost missed the semi-final. He wasn't 100% fit. He said he was. He came on and he scored the first goal, won the penalty for the second goal to put Inter 2-0 up. And then when he came off, I think Barcelona came back into the game, and that's when fireworks went off. So, he'll be fit. He hasn't played, I don't think, since the semi-final second leg. So, it'd be a great story for him if he was to captain Inter to success on Saturday night.
Yeah, and then even though Dumfries is the right wing back, that guy can score goals, create havoc. Bastoni's really good in the left center back spot, and then Samir made was unbelievable against Barcelona. How he kept out half those leaning in the ball shots is incredible.
Yeah, it's a well-oiled machine, isn't it? They've been successful the last few years, this Inter Milan team. Obviously they won the Serie A title a couple of years ago. It's an aging team, I suppose you could say, but it's still a very difficult team to beat. And whoever wins will have earned the victory, I think. Look at Acerbi. He scored that great goal, didn't they, to force extra time, I think it was, in the semi-final. It's Sommer in goal, very good goalkeeper. But I do like Dumfries ever since he broke onto the scene a few years ago in the European Championships and the World Cup for Holland, Netherlands. The man is just like a massive amount of energy going up and down the field, defending, attacking. And to his credit, he's not afraid. You see some defenders. I go back to the Europa League final last week when Euro had that effort from outside the box. It was never going to go in. I don't know why he did take the effort. But some defenders just have no composure, no sense of calm in front of goal. But Dumfries, he could be a forward. Seriously, he could be a forward. And if Inter are losing in the last 10 minutes, 5 minutes, I would expect to see him pushed up front as a makeshift striker. We saw it with Harry Maguire, didn't we, with Man United a couple of weeks ago when he scored the last-minute winner to get them into the semi-finals or the final, whatever it was. So, I can see that happening this weekend.
Yeah, same thing with Hakimi for PSG. Both these guys play like white wingers.
Yes. I think that's why we have seen goals in the semi-final and the quarterfinals, etc. I don't want to jinx it by saying that we should see plenty of goals on Saturday night. But I go back to what I said a few minutes ago. If Inter go 1-0 up, then I think we'll see a very dull, boring final. So hopefully PSG can take the lead, force Inter out of their shell, make them become more attack-minded, and see what happens after that.
Yeah, first time we're having a European Cup final between an Italian and a French side since '93. That was AC Milan against Marseille, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was, and coincidentally, I was also in Munich.
Very good. Yes. Weren't Marseille stripped of that title?
I think Marseille's issue was in the league that year.
Was it? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought they had their European Cup.
No, I'm not 100% sure if Marseille's issue was entirely in France or Europe altogether. Yeah. Later to be found match.
That was the time that Chris Waddle was playing for Marseille, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If memory serves me right.
Yeah, it was. I think French league, but not the Champions League. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Not that there haven't been Champions League smelly issues over the years.
Yes. Yeah.
I think we can all remember 2022 when the final didn't even start on time because the Liverpool fans couldn't even get in the Stade de France.
Yeah, that was a shambles. That was.
Reminded me of the Copa final down here in Miami, which was a fiasco.
Yes, it was. Yes, but
I've got another interesting question to you. We mentioned great Champions League teams. Who's the worst Champions League winning sides since 92-93?
Oh, Chelsea? Only joking. Well, that's subjective, isn't it? What are you basing that on?
I mean, basing it on talent, on talent and style of football.
Oh, blimey. Since what, 1990?
92-93.
Ajax, possibly.
I don't know if Bergkamp was with Ajax in the middle 90s.
Yeah. Borussia Dortmund, I suppose, beating Juventus. 1997, Paul Lambert. First British player, I believe, to win the Champions League. So I would probably say Dortmund 96-97. But, they beat Juventus 3-1 in the final, also in Munich. So, yeah. Who would you say?
Honestly, it pains me to say, but it's got to be that 2012 Chelsea squad. I mean, that would be the best Chelsea squad by a million miles. I mean, we defended. I mean, the way we played, Barcelona, like 80% of the ball. We had like 2 corners against Barcelona, 1 against Bayern, and somehow beat Barcelona with 10 men at the new camp, and then somehow got Bayern the penalties. And we know what happened there when Drogba, who kept his head on straight, unlike getting sent off in Moscow, and an aging Chelsea beat Bayern in Munich.
Yes. Didn't you were ahead on penalties, weren't you? After, I think it was 3-2 after 6 penalties, wasn't it?
No,
no, they were ahead. That's right. Bayern Munich were ahead, 3-2, yeah. And then they missed their last 2 penalties. Is that right?
Yeah, Czech saved Olic, and then Schweinsteiger hit the post.
Yeah, Sebastian Schweinsteiger. Yeah. Drogba scored in the normal game, and also the winning penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah. The best header I've ever seen in world football.
Oh, that's a challenge. Better than Van Persie's in the World Cup from the edge of the box.
Oh gosh, against Spain, against
Spain or Sweden, I think, possibly. Sweden, possibly.
Wow.
Henrik Larsson also scored a cracking full range diving header from distance as well. So for Sweden, not in the same game, but those are the 2 headers that spring to mind for me.
Yeah. By the way, that wasn't even the best Chelsea side. So many sides, whether it be under Jose or Evan Grant. Grant lost to your side in Moscow, 2009, where we don't need to go into the bollocks of that game, but against Boston.
Didn't you have Bosingwa in defense?
Yeah. Terry was sent off. Ivanovic, Ramirez, and Morales was suspended. I mean, heck, Ryan Bertrand started the game at left wing, left midfield.
Yeah, it wasn't great, was it? No. Well, can I just go back to the worst team possibly to have won? And for 90 minutes in 1999, Manchester United were terrible. Bayern Munich hit the woodwork 3 times. It was only in the last 3 minutes that Manchester United managed to play a little bit of decent football, and we all know what happened. So yeah, I'll put Manchester United in there as one of the worst champions of Europe.
I actually would have put you in like the top 2 or 3.
Yeah, definitely. So what are you asking me? Who's the best team not to have won it?
Yeah.
Oh, blimey. Let's have a look. I'm just looking at the finals here. To have never won it?
No, to not win it in that year.
Oh, right. Okay. So it could be a team that has won it, but
yes.
Oh, blimey. Your knowledge of this, your memory of all this will be far, far better than mine. I can't look at a team now and go, yeah, they were a better team and they should have won it that year. No, I can't. So go ahead. Who do you think?
I got 3. How about Juve won the Champions League in 96, but then added some guy named Zidane. and then reach 2 more finals and a semi the rest of the millennium.
Yeah.
How about the invincible Arsenal side losing to Chelsea at Highbury? And then the next year, Chelsea losing the Jose Mourinho Chelsea side losing their Liverpool.
Oh, yeah. Is that the contentious goal that never was or was given?
Or was it a goal if you're in West London?
If only VAR was around now, back then as it is now.
Oh, speaking of VAR, what's the one thing you wish would change with VAR?
Just get rid of it completely. Honestly, I've said to you before that the authorities, whether it's the Premier League or the MLS or the Champions League, UEFA, whatever, they want, in my opinion, they want controversial moments like what happened with Aston Villa at Old Trafford, because people will talk about it all across the world. And therefore, people will be scrambling onto Premier League's Twitter account or Premier League's website or Googling Premier League to get access to what happened. And it just creates this conversation globally so that the Premier League organizers, authorities can go to sponsors and say, our website page had 60 million page visits last month. I honestly think that the VAR decisions that are ruining the game are a device for authorities to drum up interest in the sport. It's kind of like the NFL as well. So sometimes there's controversial decisions in that. And you just think, well, it's going to get people talking, and they'll watch next week for more controversial VAR calls or replay calls in the NFL or NBA or whatever. I think all authorities love the conversations, whether it's good or bad, so they can go to sponsors to get more money for their deals, etc., because they're getting more people clicking on their website. Maybe I'm just too old and too cynical to see it that way, but why else would you persist with something that is costing clubs 100 to 200 million pounds or dollars by missing out on a place in the Champions League because a referee made a call and he blew the whistle too early, and you can't look at VAR after the whistle's been blown. I understand that. However, there have been a number of calls throughout the season and last season and the seasons before when VAR have ruined a game and have ruined a season, ruined a club's chances of winning promotion or winning a trophy or qualifying for Europe, where they could make a lot more money because of this VAR. We managed without it. There were still mistakes, but they were genuine mistakes by referees and linesmen who, missed it by a split second or whatever. But it's just not helping the game. And with Ange Postecoglou in this, there was a game involving Spurs a few weeks ago, and they were standing around for 5-6 minutes. That's not what people pay tickets for. In December, January time, when it's freezing cold and it's raining heavily, people don't want to be sat there watching nothing on a pitch for 6 or 7 minutes while VAR, somebody in a little room in Stockley Park, decides whether or not he's offside. They just want to watch football. People will accept the fact that referee and lines people will make mistakes. Just get on with it. Don't ruin the game by introducing like VAR and semi-automatic VAR, which delays the game. Just get on with it. Games are now lasting 110 minutes, 105 minutes. Well, people, the Premier League are always talking about player welfare. How's that doing anything for player welfare when they have to stand around in the freezing cold for like 5 or 6 minutes, and then they have to start the game again, by which time their limbs, their muscles are frozen up. They can't have a warm-up because they're straight back into action, and that's where hamstrings get pulled. That's where injuries happen. All because of VAR. Get rid of it. Why keep it? What benefit is it doing to the game? It's doing more bad than good.
I mean, we saw the VAR gave PSG a penalty, and the against Arsenal, and the PSG players were not even saying anything. I'm like, how's that a penalty?
That's right, because play went on for like about 30 seconds or a minute. I think Arsenal fans thought when they saw a penalty check, it was for them. But it was like the previous passage of play, which people have forgotten about. And as the commentators over here said, well, surely the person who was closest to it might have been Hakimi's shot, I think it was. Hakimi never appealed for a penalty. So how can somebody just sort of like, hang on a second, I think we've missed something there, guys. Can we just stop play? I'll have a look at this for like 2 or 3 minutes. And then in the biggest game of the season so far, and give a penalty that nobody saw.
Fortunately,
I don't get it.
Fortunately, the penalty didn't change the game, but it's just that's weird.
Yeah.
And
didn't they missed the penalty, didn't they?
Yeah, but it didn't matter. Arsenal didn't.
No, it didn't matter. No.
Arsenal were not going to score 8 goals against Durham.
No.
The pros anyway. If you can get it in like a minute, fine. But why do we need 15 minutes of VAR? If it's a borderline, if somebody somehow missed Emi Martinez sending off last week, okay, but maybe VAR's like become too much a part of football.
Oh, 100%.
Of course.
As I said, it's not doing the game any good, so why persist with it?
Of course, England fans might say the ball definitely went over the line in 2010.
Yeah, in South Africa, Frank Lampard. Yeah, well, that definitely did, and it should have been a goal. That's just one of those things that, the genuine mistakes happen. Look at the goal that Tottenham scored against Manchester United at Old Trafford. Roy Carroll was caught off his line and he scrambled the ball back over the line. We all survived that. There was no VAR back then. It was just, okay, bad refereeing decision. We get on with it. But it's week after week, game after game after game. We're talking about VAR all the time. Enough. Get rid of it. It's not benefiting the game when the players are standing around for like 5-6 minutes waiting for a decision, and then they have to go back into it once the referee blows his whistle, and then you pull a hamstring, you pull a calf muscle, and you're out sidelined for like 3, 4, 5, 10 weeks because of VAR. It does more bad than good.
Yeah, and
I'm all for goal line technology, by the way. That
it takes away the rhythm. I mean, guys are in a rhythm, the fans are in, and then guess what? People throw debris on the pitch because all of a sudden a goal, it's a penalty, it's a sending off. It's like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
I just hope that on Saturday night we're not talking about a VAR controversy or a refereeing controversy, but I fear we probably will.
Okay, so you know me, I'm the trivia savant, so there's got to be some trivia here. I will go first, and then you've got the trivia for me. So, what famous Northern Irishman was part of Nottingham Forest's Champions League winning squads in 1979 and 1980?
Sorry, you broke up a little bit there.
What famous Northern Irishman was part of Nottingham Forest's 19 consecutive Champions League winning sides?
Yeah, I'll stop you there. Martin O'Neill.
Yeah. I knew you would have gotten it in.
Yeah. I've got one for you. What do Donnarumma, Marcus Thuram, and Benjamin Pavard have in common before this weekend's game?
Say it again.
Donnarumma, Pavard, and Thuram. What do they all have in common ahead of this weekend's game?
They've all three.
What can they achieve? What can they do?
Oh, I think would this be when the wait? Huh. That's weird because I think I see. Win the Champions League against the others, against those three guys could win the Champions League against one of their country's own teams.
Against a team from their country of birth, correct. Yep. Well done. I thought I would have got you on that one.
No, I'm like it couldn't have been win the World Cup because Italy hasn't been in the last two World Cups.
No.
Couldn't have been Euros because France didn't win either the last Euros.
No. I've got another one for you. How many finals in the European Cup / Champions League? How many finals in this competition have gone to extra time? You're not going to know that. I mean, I'm not expecting you to go through every game that's gone to extra time. Oh, not a bad guess. Not a bad guess. 17.
Oh, I forgot the one in 2012. Crap.
Yeah. So there you go.
And I believe the finals going to penalties 9 and 11 times.
Possibly. Yeah. I don't have that answer, but because I remember it was 8 in the 05 final, and then 08, 12, and 16 all went to penalties. That's right. That's right. So, how do you think Saturday's final will pan out, considering?
Go ahead. You can add.
Considering PSG wrapped up their league weeks ago, while Inter were still playing for the title and obviously missed out to Napoli last Friday. Will that have any bearing on the final, do you think?
Honestly, I think we see a tight, competitive game, but I don't know. This could backfire me in the butt. I think Inter Milan and PSG go all the way, and I'll take Inter Milan in penalties.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would like PSG to win. I'm not bothered if it's 90 minutes or extra time or on penalties. If it does go to penalties, Donnarumma has got a tremendous record in penalty shootouts. I mean, I wonder why. The fact that he's 19 feet 3 inches tall, good luck trying to get anything past him. But yeah, he's a formidable goalkeeper in shootouts, as England can testify to in the Euro 2020 final, which was played in 2021. So yeah, if it does go to penalties, you have to fancy PSG for that. And obviously they won at Anfield on penalties in front of the cup. Maybe, I'm not sure if it was, but yeah, they won at Anfield in a way, so on penalties. So yeah. I mean, but I think. Sorry, just one other point I was going to make is I think if you are Inter Milan, you would feel hard done by if you lost this final, considering you've only lost once getting to the final, whereas PSG have lost 5 times so far. But it's not how you start a competition, it's how you finish it. So that'll count for nothing if PSG win in Munich on Saturday night.
Heck, I mean, Chelsea's 2 Champions League triumphs came with interim managers.
That's right. Yeah.
And what happened on this very day?
Oh, which one was that?
2021.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kai Havertz scoring the only goal in Porto.
Mm-hmm.
I would also have loved to have that guy the last 10 weeks of the season.
Yeah. He's done all right at Arsenal, but I don't think he's what they need. They need an out-and-out striker.
Yeah.
So if they don't buy one this year and they don't win anything next year, then Arteta has to be sweating on his job.
Yeah.
He'll be on the hot seat, as they say, over the other side of the pond.
Yeah, and it's going to be a spicy red hot seat.
Oh, it will. Yeah.
All right, mate. Thanks for hopping on, and maybe next time we talk, we'll talk in Jags Dolphins AFC Championship game.
We can dream. We can hope, can't we? It's hope that kills you, as they say. There's no way Miami are going anywhere near the playoffs this year.
But you all go into the Bayou.
Pardon?
You all go into the Burner Bayou this year.
Yes. But yeah, it's going to be a disappointing season. There's nothing to get excited about. So, well, you never know.